Hey everybody, HMV here, playing more Kerbal Space Program, and we continue the robot revolution today with the Jool 5-1. I don't think this can do a Jool 5 mission, but we're going to try. It's a probe, so at the point it fails, hey, we're good. And we're going to launch in 3, 2, 1, launch. It's a pretty simple ship with pretty simple goals. Right now, the simple goal is to get into orbit without wasting too much fuel or burning up, which, for me, can be kind of hard sometimes. You've seen me fail at that many times. But shouldn't be that bad. This guy has probably a slightly bigger chance of burning up than wasting fuel by going up too high, so it's good that we're a little bit high up. However, the moment we drop this bottom stage, we lose a lot of our oomph. And by oomph, of course, I mean steering. We lose a lot of our steering because we've got angled fins right here, but we don't have angled fins here. Actually, now that I'm looking at that, I don't think we have angled fins anywhere, so I'm not sure how we're steering. I guess it's the reaction wheels. This is my favorite design for a ship. It's got a flea at the top, then a hammer, then a back, and then the BCC, whatever, I don't remember what the biggest one. And it's like the perfect amount to get this thing into orbit. It's pretty cool. Well, not quite orbit, but the perfect amount to get this guy close to orbit. Okay, we're just going to ditch the fairings right now. And yeah, between these two stages, we do not have the delta V to get this guy into orbit. At least I don't think we do. No, we've only got like 400 left. Yeah, it's close, but it's not quite. Which is fine. Getting into orbit is not the goal of these first stages. It's just to get really close. And really close we are. And let's see, we're still heading up, so I think we're going to take a moment to extend all of our solar panels, rotate ourselves the way we like to be rotated. And this is a very simple ship. It's just got 3 fuel tanks that it's going to be dropping these two as it goes. One of them should be enough to get into... well, it helps if I stage that engine. One of them will be enough to get it into Kerbin Escape. The other one will hopefully get it around most of Jool, and then when we drop that, we can do the rest with this one. And then when the time comes, we will give up on this guy and send him, ideally past the monolith, into a Jool death dive. And actually, when I say that this thing will get us through a Jool ejection, that's not actually correct. It will get us to a Kerbin ejection, and then we'll have to dump it and then do the rest of the burn to Jool by itself. I'm going to get ourselves above 100 kilometers, just because I'm not a fan of the orbit problems we're still having this low. So as soon as my apoapsis gets to 100, I'm going to warp to it and burn my periapsis up to it. I had the science thing turned off, but we've pretty much gotten all the science that we can expect around Kerbin. And if we don't, we'll get it on future launches. Hey, 0.3 science. Let's send that. We actually got a contract completed for that, which is hilarious. There we go. Both periapsis and apoapsis over 100. That's our goal. Let's go ahead and... 3 science. We got more science for completing the contract than we did for sending the science, which is always good. Okay, well, let's actually orbit this guy around a little bit. So we can plop a maneuver node here. Yeah, we'll be in the sun eventually. Go ahead and transmit that too. But we want to burn to Jool, and what we want to do here is we have 929 meters per second. And that's enough to actually get an escape. The problem here is we can't really expect to do that burn. Because we're talking, this is now 4.5 minutes. Just in low Kerbal orbit, you can't really expect to be able to burn that long. And plus, we've got a lot bigger burn than that. We've got to do this, We got to get all the way out to Jool. Which means, kind of surprised we don't see an encounter there, but maybe if we do this, oops, that's not what I want to do. Yeah, there we go. We can tweak it once we get out of the Kerbin system, but it'll be something like that. There you go. But I think we really can't expect to do more than half of that on the first burn, and maybe not even that much. So we're talking. Yeah, let's see what 929 will do for us. Oh, I was like, where are we? Oh, there we are. We zoomed in so far. That's one thing with Scatterer is it causes massive pauses in the game. But let's see what 929 will do. 929 escapes. So let's try 800. 800 will keep us below moon orbit. And then we'll just have to suck it up and do the rest of it there. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. 3 minutes. I brought 4 science packs on this guy because that way he can collect science without having to transmit it right away. In case we start having battery problems, I don't want the science queuing up in the device and not being able to gather more. So 4 of them should be enough, and they're so tiny that what does it matter? Oh, it probably matters, but it's just a few meters per second total on the entire trip, as opposed to, hundreds. I do love that the decouplers now allow cross-feed. I think that's a fantastic addition to the game. Makes design so much easier to make. Okay, next orbit. Let's see, we need about 1100, and we just got to do it all, sadly. And not only do we have to do it all, but we have to start it a little bit early. Still only 3 minutes and 40 seconds, which is nice. But we got to start it a little bit early because we're going to, and actually we need more than that. There we go. 1180. So it's almost a 4-minute burn. So we need to start this 2 minutes beforehand. And because we got to stop for a second and toss this thing aside when it runs out of fuel very soon. And I'm going to hit the gas now. And the moment this tank is empty, we are going to stop burning, turn to the side, toss it, and then start burning again. And ideally, this will push us up to, yeah, we're past Moon's orbit already, so that's good. That was my concern, was I wanted to make sure this thing will get tossed out of the system. Okay, turn, stage, turn, hit Z. I forgot to hit F10, sorry about that. Nothing major, we got an encounter with Jool, kind of. You can see it flickering and flashing there. Go ahead and reset all these experiments that we don't need because they're all 0. And now that we're in Jool's sphere of influence, or in Sun's sphere of influence, I'm sorry, and we have Jool as our target, I should be able to snap this to the ascending node, or the descending node. There we go. Snap to the descending node, and then doesn't actually tell me what my descending node is here, which kind of sucks because I lost my descending node there. But we know we need to burn north, so let's do it. That's looking really good right there. Okay, we know we want to get somewhere in the vicinity of Tylo. That's actually our goal here. Let's go ahead and set Tylo as our target. So let's go ahead and try a little bit of radial. Now let's try a little bit of prograde. Prograde helps a lot more than radial, so let's go ahead and use prograde. And then boom. So what we're going to do here is we're using prograde to get close. And then we're going to use radial to actually nail it. And that is as equatorial as I can really expect to get, maybe one less. So now I'm going to use radial. Sorry about all the flashing. It's just the way the game works sometimes. There's Tylo. Tylo's going to be there. But that doesn't mean it's going to not be over here when we're over here, just because the time difference could be so different. Okay, we're going to use the trick we learned at Gilly in my other episode. We're going to get this guy into orbit, and that should show us our Tylo encounter. Yeah, when we're here, Tylo's going to be here, which is basically the absolute worst it could be. So this is actually a good way to show how easy this is to fix. So if we add one more prograde, and then probably 10 more or more, yeah. There we go, boom, Tylo is now where we want it to be. And that's actually a pretty good orbit. That is not bad at all. That gets us into orbit a Jool. We need to basically orbit all these guys, and I think we should just start at Pole, go to Bop, Vol. Or Tylo, then Vol, then Lathe. Because we need to orbit them all to find out which ones have anomalies around them. I think there are 3 anomalies out here. I happen to know where 2 of them are, but I'm going to pretend I don't. Because it's more fun that way. We should also be able to tweak the normal. And maybe the radial again. There we go. See, that brings us around the outside, but that's not going to do it because that's actually giving us speed. See, the idea here is we're coming in from behind, so we're catching up to Tylo, and then we want Tylo to throw us outward or inward so that things happen. And you do that by getting really close, but when you get really close, then your angle really matters a lot. So I'm fixing my angle, and then by fixing the angle, that tends to toss us aside. So now I'm fixing my radial again. Yeah, we might have to do something like this and then tweak it later. In a second mid-course correction. Let's just get this. Let's nail this, and then we can fix the actual angles later. The important thing is we're nailing Tylo at a really good time. So that is in 17 days, and Moho's not for 255. So let's go ahead and do this. Okay, whoop. Okay, now I'm going to thrust limit the engine way down, and that should be pretty much perfect. And it could be better, to be honest. But we quite literally cannot aim at the maneuver node. That's pretty funny. So we'll deal with that. We'll deal with that when the time comes. And when the time comes is going to be probably around here. And of course we can't do a maneuver. Can we do this and then minus an orbit? Of course we can, because precise node is awesome. We'll do it around here, somewhere around Drez's orbit. The closer you get to Jool, the more fuel everything takes. And the more fuel everything takes, the easier it is to be precise. So it's a trade-off. Do you want precision or do you want fuel savings? We did the bulk of this with the fuel savings. So now we're going to do this part with the precision. So now we want radial to get us a nice close encounter with Jool. And then normal, even a little bit of normal is too much. That's crazy. I can only assume that means weird things are happening. Now it's fine. There we go. See, that's a death crash into Tylo, which is obviously what we in the game would call bad. So it looks like that will kill us, and that's not enough. Which to me means we still need to fiddle. So let's actually keep it with the gonna kill us. Yeah, that's gonna kill us, so I think we should keep up with that one. Let's keep the one that'll kill us. And the important thing to note, though, is that is after our Moho window. So the next thing up is our launch to Moho. And the Gavote, or just Gavote, and Choo Choo Charlie are on that mission. And they are going to be launching next, and that's next episode. Hope you enjoyed watching this. I hope you're looking forward to the Moho mission. I enjoyed doing it. I'm HMV, and I will, as always, talk at you later.